like compete with the young guys. And I'm thinking about retirement, but right now it's not time to talk about.
Islam Makhachev opens up on his future in MMA, admitting he might retire when he can no longer keep up with the younger fighters. Michael Bisping believes Islam Makhachev could solidify himself as the greatest lightweight of all time. He pointed out that previous champions typically defended the title 3 times before moving on. If Islam defends his title against Arman Tsarukyan, it will be his 4th defense, surpassing that milestone. Bisping emphasized that this achievement would further cement Islam's legacy and dominance in the division.
Islam Makhachev going on to become the greatest lightweight fighter of all time. And that would be a fact according to the numbers. Of course, Islam Makhachev has defended the belt 3 times. So did Khabib Nurmagomedov. So did BJ Penn. So did Benson Henderson. 3 title defenses, that is the max. If Islam goes out there and beats Arman Tsarukyan, which Arman might think he will, just judging by what he said on his YouTube video, that will be 4 defenses, and he will be the greatest lightweight on planet Earth in the history of the sport.
Randy Couture said Makhachev is at his peak, making him a tough opponent for anyone in the octagon. Couture pointed out Makhachev's impressive streak, taking down top fighters and dominating the lightweight division. He also mentioned that facing tough challengers like Tsarukyan is key to proving Makhachev's greatness.
I mean, Islam is at the top of his game right now, so you better strap him on tight if you're stepping in with him right now. He's literally firing on all cylinders and at his peak right now. So I'm glad he's getting tough fights like that. That's going to be a real test, and it'll be interesting to see who goes out and imposes their will, because that's exactly what's going to have to happen.
Mark Coleman is confident Makhachev will keep his title. He sees Makhachev quickly becoming one of the greatest fighters ever. Coleman praised Makhachev's skills, comparing him to Khabib Nurmagomedov due to their similar fighting styles and work ethic.
Yeah, I love that one as well. I'm going to go with Islam. You know, he's right up there in the GOAT conversation. Pretty soon he'll be there if he keeps plugging away, but he's just fantastic, amazing. Reminds me a lot of Khabib.
Islam Makhachev admitted he underestimated Arman in their first fight. He said he was told he'd face a good fighter from Russia, but didn't know who exactly, so he didn't prepare properly. Arman showed courage by coming to Russia to fight Makhachev when no one else would.
Maybe I'm underestimate him because I don't. This guy just. I saw him in UFC.
Yeah.
Because in the Russia, nobody want to come to Russia and fight with me. It's the event in the Russia. It was in Russia, and they're looking for some opponent, you know, for me. And like before 1 month, they call me. We will sign some guy. He have good records. He's gonna be your next opponent.
Makhachev said he never saw any of Arman's fights before they faced off, which made it harder for him. He had no idea about Arman's skills or fighting style. Despite the struggle, Islam was glad he won all 3 rounds and beat the Armenian fighter.
He come and we have very good fights. I won all 3 rounds. But right now he improved a lot. Of course, he have more experience in UFC, have a lot of fight in UFC. But if you ask me, I'm true. You know, I see his style, I see his skills. I don't see something what make me surprised because he have good wrestling. I have same. I have better than him.
Islam might have underestimated Arman in 2019, but he won't make that mistake again. The champ knows how skilled and driven Arman is, so he'll prepare properly. Arman responded, saying Islam might downplay him in the media, but deep down he knows his title's at risk. Tsarukyan pointed out that Islam's team is professional and they know he'll need to bring his best to keep his lightweight belt.
Учитывая все факторы и обстоятельства, может чуть-чуть все-таки тебя недооценивать.
Я думаю, что он на камеру меня недооценивает, просто показывает людям, что я не его уровень и так далее, но в его команде и его тренера понимают, что я очень серьезная угроза, и они будут готовиться на все 100%.
Islam said retirement isn't about breaking records or age. For him, it's when he can't train or keep up with younger fighters in the gym. He'll step away only when he feels he can't meet those expectations. But right now, he believes he still has more to achieve.
Not like age, my opinion, it's I go to the gym and I told you, the all kids want to show something to me.
Yeah.
And when I understand I cannot stop the people. I cannot like compete with the young guys. And I'm thinking about retired, but right now it's not time to talk about this because I know I can do more.
Colby Covington believes Arman Tsarukyan has what it takes to win. He praised Arman's athleticism and flexibility, especially his escape from Charles Oliveira's choke. Colby also highlighted Arman's aggression and resilience, noting how he pushed through tough moments. He mentioned that Arman's strong coaching staff boosts his confidence, adding that if Arman trusts his striking, his power could lead to a knockout against Islam Makhachev.
I think he can. I do. I do think he can get it done. I think he's an athlete. Look how flexible he is. Look how he got out of that choke with Charles. That was impressive, man. He dug deep for that. And, you know, he's got a better coach. You know, he's got a great coach. So, you know, I believe in Arman. He's an athlete. He's got big power in his hands. You know, if he believes in those hands, I think he could knock out Makhachev.
Joe Rogan highlighted that fighters like Islam Makhachev are truly versatile, able to do everything in the octagon. He pointed out how intimidating Islam is, both standing and on the ground, referencing his knockout power and his ability to submit top-tier fighters. Rogan emphasized how Islam can knock someone out with a single shot, like he did with Gleison Tibau, yet still be dangerous in striking exchanges. He noted that Islam's combination of skills, from powerful strikes to submission ability, makes him a complete and well-rounded fighter, capable of dominating in ease.
You got guys like Islam that could do everything. Islam is scary standing up. When you KO Volkanovski like that, and then you choke out Dustin Poirier like that guy can head kick you, he can strike with you. He knocked out Gleison Tibau with one shot standing, and he can still strangle you, and he can still smother you. Like, it's the perfect combination.
O'Day Osborne admitted his prediction might be biased due to his friendship with Arman Tsarukyan. He praised Arman's intense fighting style, calling him a dog in the cage. O'Day believes the sport needs fresh faces, which is why he's backing Arman for the win.
Oh man, you know, it's gonna be a biased prediction because Arman is a friend of mine. I do love how he fights, so I'm gonna say Arman. I love how Arman fights. It's super exciting all the time, and he's a dog. You know, and I think we need to see some new faces, so Arman.
Bilal Muhammad stated that Islam Makhachev is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He thinks the rematch with Arman Tsarukyan will be different, with Islam showing there are levels to the game. While recognizing Arman's talent, Bilal believes Islam has evolved and is now operating on a whole new level.
Islam and Arman? I got Islam. Islam, I think, is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And I think it's going to be kind of like the same. It's not going to be the same thing as the first fight because that first fight was very close. I think Islam's going to show that there's levels to this, and I think he's grown way more than Arman. Arman's great, but I think Islam is at another level.
Michael Chandler is doubtful about Arman beating Islam. He believes Islam is the best lightweight with strong striking and grappling, as shown in his recent wins. Chandler also highlighted that Islam's motivation goes beyond titles. He's fighting for his country, religion, legacy, and to honor Khabib and his father.
Forward, I think right now I will be surprised if Arman pulls it off. I think Islam has continued to solidify himself as the best lightweight in the world by far with his performances, and I have no problem saying that. His hands are getting better. He just outstruck Poirier. He can outgrapple anybody.
James Lynch compares Islam and Arman for the rematch. Islam is 33, 5'10", with a 70.5 reach. Arman is 28, 5'7", with a 72.5 reach, so he has the reach advantage. Lynch recalls their first fight in 2019, where Arman stepped in on short notice and went the distance with Islam. Few fighters have done that, and this time, with more prep, Arman could have a better chance.
Hill and Yuri Prochazka on there as well. We'll talk about that fight in a second, but man, are they ever coming out guns a-blazing to start this year off. That card going to be taking place, like you see there, at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles. So really, really good card. Let's start first with the Islam and Arman rematch. Again, we all knew this was going to happen. Quick tail of the tape between these two. 33 years old for Islam. He is 5'10" with a 70.5 inch reach. Arman is 28 years old, 5'7" with a 72.5 inch reach. So Arman going to have the reach advantage. He's also younger, but Islam going to be a little bit taller. And if you remember, their first fight took place.
Austin Bashi believes Tsarukyan could expose weaknesses in Islam's game with more experience and preparation. He remembers how Arman, just 22, pushed Islam in their first fight on short notice. Bashi thinks Arman's growth could make a difference this time.
You know, I got Arman actually in that one. The first time they fought, Arman, I believe, was like only 22 years old and gave him a real good run. But this time around, I think he could pull it out.
Paul Craig backs Makhachev, saying his grappling and wrestling are unmatched in MMA. He believes Islam's ground control will be too much for Tsarukyan, and that grappling is key to his victory.
I don't think there's anybody going to dethrone these Dagestanis. I think they're just their style is beautiful, and I do believe that it's going to go one way, and there's going to be the champ's going to stay the champ.
Brendan Schaub isn't sold on Makhachev's pound-for-pound ranking, arguing strength of schedule matters, but he still thinks Islam is the favorite due to his all-around skills.
Now, when it comes to pound for pound in your division, I look at strength of schedule. I look at who have you beat, how have you beat them. Islam's strength of schedule, when we're talking about, if you look at the pound for pound list, the top 5, has by far the easiest strength of schedule. He's not my pound for pound number 1. Let's be very clear. Not my king, not bend the knee, dude. Refute, cut my head off. Cut my head off. Not hating on Islam. I know you guys are gonna run with that. I'm not doing that. I'm not hating on him. There's nothing he can do about it. It's not his fault. He fights whoever's in front of him. But for his management, whoever's telling this, dude, let's jump to 70.
Brandon Gibson points to Islam's win over Dustin Poirier as proof of his growth and champion mentality. He believes Makhachev's grappling will be crucial in the rematch, and while Tsarukyan is talented, his experience may not match Islam's versatility.
I think Islam is rightfully the favorite. He's racking up that championship experience. In the bout with Poirier showed his championship character, like being able to really dig down deep in those later rounds, despite the cut, despite being wobbled. I think Islam's really growing as a champion, and I think we won't see such a close rematch between those two. I think Islam shows domination and showcases his grappling once again.
Jamal Hill finds the fight between Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan interesting. He acknowledges Arman's strength and hard work, making it a fight that could go either way. However, Hill thinks Islam should be the favorite, calling him the pound-for-pound best right now. He believes Makhachev's performances leave no doubt about his skills, and fully supports him being favored.
I've seen Islam. He's been out here the last couple of days. He looks big, he looks strong, he's been working. But Arman's been putting together. I believe it's an interesting fight. It can go either way, and I just can't wait to see it.
Islam's the favorite. Do you think he should be the favorite in the fight?
Yes, 100% he should be the favorite. He's a pound-for-pound best fighter in the world right now, and his performances have left not much room to doubt him, So yeah, he should be the favorite, but at the end of the day, it's a fight.
Terrence McKinney thinks Arman Tsarukyan has solid striking, but still picks Islam Makhachev to win. He feels Islam's size, height, and strength will give him the edge, especially in scrambles. Over 5 rounds, McKinney believes Islam's physicality will be too much for Arman. He admits this could be Makhachev's toughest defense, but still expects Islam to prove why he's the champ.
I like what Arman brings as threat on the feet. But I think Islam will, just because of his height, will be able to win most of the scrambles. I think he was a bigger person just in general. And I think 5 rounds dealing with a person with that much muscle, I think Islam shows why he's champ still. But this will probably be his toughest title fight.
Joaquin Buckley isn't sure who will win the rematch, saying no one has a clear advantage. He's curious to see what changes Arman Tsarukyan has made for the second fight. Despite this, Buckley sees Islam Makhachev as a dominant champ and would pick him to win. Still, he pointed out the unpredictability of the fight, especially with someone as hungry and determined as Tsarukyan, who's aiming to be a world champ himself.
I don't think anybody got anybody number, to be honest with you. So, we'll see what Arman has changed up and what he would do different, in this fight, in the second one that's coming up. But for me, I think Islam is just a dominant champion right now. So I would just pick Islam just because. But you never know. Especially when you got somebody that's hungry and determined to become a world champion themselves.
Eddie Alvarez thinks Islam Makhachev could lose his next fight, especially in a rematch. After beating Dustin Poirier at UFC 302, Makhachev said he wants a second belt and is eyeing a welterweight title fight. But UFC CEO Dana White mentioned that Makhachev's next fight is likely against Arman Tsarukyan, who earned a title shot. Alvarez pointed out that Tsarukyan, who lost to Makhachev in 2019, has improved a lot since then. He also believes Makhachev is easier to beat than Khabib Nurmagomedov. Islam is not Khabib. He doesn't fight like Khabib. Makhachev takes more chances and more risks and relies on finishing guys, whereas Khabib just knew you weren't going to be able to deal with him over time. Alvarez said on the MMA Hour, Islam's going to go for it and leave himself more vulnerable, but he's more susceptible to getting beat than Khabib was. Draw a Car Close thinks Islam Makhachev's size and strength give him the edge in the fight. However, Close hopes Arman Tsarukyan can pull off the upset as he enjoys seeing change at the top of the division. He'd like to see new names rise and challenge the top fighters. Despite backing Tsarukyan, Close acknowledges it'll be a tough challenge given Islam's dominance and skill.
Islam's a big guy. I think Islam was going to win it, you know what I mean? But I hope Arman wins, you know what I mean? I like to see change in the top, you know, move those numbers around and, you know, get some guys out. So hopefully Arman pulls it off, but I think it's going to be a tough.
Youssef Zalal thinks Islam Makhachev will win, but sees Arman Tsarukyan as one of his toughest matchups. He compared Makhachev's win over Oliveira to Tsarukyan's fight with him, saying both were impressive, but styles make fights. Zalal pointed out that certain styles can challenge even the best, but he still backs Islam to come out on top.
I'm definitely gonna go with my boy Islam, but I have a thing. I think that's the toughest stylistically matchup for Islam. I do believe that. People saying, oh, he fought him on short notice, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you see what Arman is doing. And they're comparing like, oh, look at what Islam did to Oliveira and then Arman to Oliveira. I was like, in this game, styles make matchups. It doesn't matter how good you are, but some styles are just not your kryptonite. So I think it's going to be a really strong matchup, but I'm definitely going with my boy Islam.
Sean O'Malley commented on Arman's short notice fight with Islam, saying Arman did better than anyone else before Dustin. He questioned who else could challenge Islam and brought up Dana not ranking Islam as #1 pound for pound, asking how that makes sense and whether John Jones is ranked instead.
Yeah, Arman's so skilled, bro.
Oh yeah.
That'd be crazy if Arman's champ.
Arman's first fight in the UFC was fighting Islam short notice, and he fought him arguably better than anybody's fought him up until Dustin last night. So I would give it to who else? Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more updates. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.